Today I'm going to test whether I like Matte Mod Podge or Glossy Mod Podge better by doing this project. Okay, today we are going to take some stuff and make an experiment. I'm going to do a whole project. And it's going to be fun because we're going to make it half with Mod Podge matte and half with Mod Podge gloss. Like that isn't going to be derpy to do, right? Okay, but that's okay. I'm a derp. So we got our Mod Podge gloss and our Mod Podge matte. And this is going to be super fun. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do one of those wicked cool... I can't remember her name. Tamara. Oh, shoot. I'll think of it and I'll put it below. But she used to do these really cool, like, new agey, creepy, mix a giant head with a elephant body. And then she always had this really neat outer border. And then it was just kind of cool and surreal. And so we're gonna do that. So we are gonna make that. And then because my art journal is 8.5 by 11, I want to get this down to about that. So this is 9. So I've got to cut off that much. And I've got to cut off that much. Okay. So let's do that. And I'm going to cut off a little bit extra because I tend to go over the edges. And if you like your stuff to be square and perfect, use your paper trimmer. I know that I will be tearing things up. I will be adding things. There's going to be things hanging off the edge. It does not matter to me. Okay, there we go. All right. And I don't keep little white pieces of paper. I don't keep hardly any pieces of paper because I would wind up with so much paper. Okay, so this is going to be our dividing line. This is Mod Podge. Matte, right? And this is Mod Podge gloss. Okay, so we're going to start it that way, and you will know left is matte, right is gloss. Okay, so let's get this started. So we're going to put, do we want these in even halfers? Let's do halfers. Okay. Here we go. We got that. And I was thinking I would put this. Oops. Put that there. But I was thinking I would rip this in half and put half of it on this side and half of it on this side in the back. Okay. So let's start with that. I like it. I like these little doily things because they add texture. And I am a texture addict. All right, so we don't want to mess it up already on the first step. Okay, so here we go. Oh, this is kind of exciting. I've been wanting to do this experiment for a while. Because I like glossy things. And I am just such in the habit of using regular Mod Podge that I feel like sometimes I could do a whole project with gloss Mod Podge And it could turn out really cool, but I never think of it. Okay, there's a line. We can't go beyond that line. All right. Let's get a couple of these guys. I'll put this down here. This is kind of going to be the background for the middle. I don't want it to be too fussy because I'm going to do that really weird magazine collage, but oops, I went over here. Okay. Ooh, this is going to be harder than I thought. Okay, let's put a little piece up here. Right up to the edge, right? Boop, boop. Okay. There we go. All right, that'll make a nice back for there. All right. And then let's do these guys. All right, let's do this one right up to the line. And then I have this other kind of old-fashioned paper. So let's mix that in. Uh-oh, I don't want to use all that up. I guess I have a bunch. Okay. That'll be enough to get us to there. And then we need some up there to get us over to there. All right, here we go. Somebody's back home. My son from fishing or my husband from biking. Somebody's around. Okay, so now let's do this. And we got the gloss side. So we're gonna put this stuff down with gloss. Because this is our back. We always want to do our back stuff first. Okay. Okay. All right, so now we have to get this kind of stuff over here. I have the sniffles today. I am functionally allergic to almost everything in the world. So I'm allergic to most food. And I'm allergic to dogs and cats, and you've seen my dogs and cats, and I'm allergic to trees and grass and dust. And it's really quite annoying. Ooh, Mod Podge gloss smells different than Mod Podge regular. Okay, interesting. Did not know that. Okay, so let's get this in the background. Let's get this in the background. And I am not going to heat dry this. I'm going to let all of this, this is just our first layer. I'm going to let all of this dry naturally. So this is going to be like a one layer, come back, another layer, come back kind of thing, right? All right, let's do this. All right, but But in the meantime, I will be going and finding cool stuff to put on our magazine collage. That is what I will be doing. I just think this is kind of fun, huh? Because you never think, like I just did a video, I don't know if it'll be out by the time you see this, but I just did a video where I made different backgrounds using different stuff. And if you'd have asked me, I would have said starting with a white background would be my least favorite of all. And come to find out, it did come in number 3, but it came in way before using like a fun tissue paper background, which if you had asked me, I would have said would have been my all-time favorite. So what I think happens with us is we get kind of in a groove, we get an idea of what we like, and then we don't really think beyond that. We think, oh, this is what I like. But when you do little experiments like this, how are we doing? Do we want to put, I feel like we need a piece of something in here. Well, now that I have that much of that in there, I feel like I could do we want to do a little bit more of a doily? I think that's 2 doilies. These guys are not very hardy. They are the cheapest doilies I could buy on Amazon. But I love them for their ability to add a bit of fun texture. Sorry about the dog. I will go get him as soon as I get done with this layer of gloss. And he's a beagle. Beagles do not understand artwork. All right, that's it for now. So, this has been kind of fun. I didn't know what I was going to do with this project, except for that I was going to use the gloss and not gloss. So, let's go ahead and cut this down so we know kind of how big we have. And I have to say that the gloss has a smell, like a pretty, I'm not the world's best smeller and it smells. That's okay. Okay. So this is how big we have. And so this is the matte side and this is the gloss side. And I went in the other room and I watched some art videos. And I got some images to use for this project, some magazine images. And I found this body. I knew I wanted like that weird, surrealistic, not exactly right, what's wrong with this? So I found this hands and this lady and this really pretty girl. And then I found some eyes for her to put inside her glasses. And this is kind of going to give me the main part of my color palette is purple and teal. And I had been thinking maybe I would go for a red and teal, but now I want more of a purple. I guess I don't have purple. So we're going to go with the red and teal. And then I found these really cool antlers, and this is where you have to go with what feels right to you, because I put the antlers on her and she looked evil, and that was definitely not my intention for this project. So then I found this flower, and I thought it would be fun to have a flower there. So let's see, can we move her down? And the flower is going to stick through her head, right? It's going to be coming out of her brain part. So let's do that. I know that sounds weird, but you'll see it. I need a X-Acto knife Or I have a little tool. Do we want to make a little circle that it could go through? Look, I have this little, how fun would that be? Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a circle through her head. I know it sounds weird. There we go. Now we have a circle in her head. Look. See, now we can thread that flower through the circle, right? Like it's coming out of her head. Okay, I like that. So let's, we're gonna do this kind of the easy way. Where's our here's our Yoo-hoo stick. And Yoo-hoo is really good for just sticking your stuff together, right? This isn't to stick it on the paper and get it stuck. This is just to have, did I do the wrong side? I did the wrong side, darn it. Okay, so we're gonna do this side. You guys were going, you did the wrong side. Okay, so we're gonna put this in her head. We're gonna put this in her head and kind of get it stuck down, but we want to turn it over so we can see what it looks like. Okay, there we go. All right, that is good. Perfect. All right. And then we want to stick our eyeballs on. So let's get some glue on here. And when I started, I would try to cut it like right along the edges. And what I have found is the more you can have extra, the easier it makes it going forward to kind of fit things in. And if it isn't just perfect, you have a little extra you can use, and I think this is supposed to match that little dink right there. So we're gonna try that. Doot. Maybe I want it a tiny bit lower. There we go. Okay, so that's where her eye is gonna be in her. We gotta get, oops, darn it. Her flower is fighting us. Okay, so let's get this other side in. And what happens when you don't use her correct eyes is that you, as a viewer, you know there's something wrong, right? But you may not necessarily know exactly what is wrong. Okay, so we have her, we have this. Okay, I really like this. And then I was thinking that I would do it without a whole bunch of extra stuff. So we can go way up on this. Let's go up. We're gonna take this right to the top so we can have as much of her body as we can get, because I think it's nice to have like that weird frame of reference for her body. And then, but wait, it gets better. I found a bird to be visiting her head. Okay, so we have a bird to visit her head, which is cute. So, do we want the bird visiting her head? I feel like if we do that, we have to move it down a little bit. Okay, let's see what happens when the bird visits her head. Okay, I'm fine with that. I don't hate that. And then I was just gonna have all doodles around the sides, but this bird and the flower came with a whole bunch of other flowers. And I thought it would be cool to have some other stuff going on like that. Yeah, we gotta have something over here. So maybe we'll do this. And then we can use the other parts. Because this is inspired by, and I remembered the girl's name. Her name is Tisha Moore. If you look up Tisha Moore Circus, and I'll put a link to her website and her work. She does a lot of color blocking. She does a lot of fun stuff. She was definitely an inspiration when I started, but now that I actually have my own style, I want to have her as an inspiration, but then I really want it to be very similar to what I would do anyways. So we're gonna let's start with gluing our head down. Okay, and so the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna use our mat on one side, right? And I do want this to have lots and lots of layers of Mod Podge. It's going to be a thick project. I tend to have really thick projects anyways, but this is going to be a thick project. Okay. We're going to come over here. Surprised when it dried, it didn't stop smelling. I would almost say that the smelliness might be a deterrent for me, but I don't know yet. Okay, let's put her in the middle. Okay. We'll get her stuck down because we don't have anything else going on with her. And her glasses are not super stuck down, but I'm fine with that. And then let's go ahead and put her, we can put her body on. So this is the gloss side. I got to get it on her hand. This is the matte side. So honestly, a very weird way to do art. So, it's right about there, just a little bit of her. All right, so we got that, this down. She's kind of holding the sides of her mouth. Oh. Okay. Oh. Did go down far enough. Okay, good. So we need a teeny bit of matte over here because that side of her dress wasn't down. Okay, we need a little bit of matte under here. And then, okay, we need to do her flower. And I'm not covering up yet the magazine bits. Is this already sorted down? Okay, that's already sorted down. But let's get in under here and, or am I going to cover the magazine bits? We'll have to see. We will have to see, because the reason why it makes a difference is when you do not have Mod Podge on the magazine bits. It's open paper, so it will accept inks and dyes. Once you Mod Podge it, it has a clear, oops, covering over it. And since this is a Mod Podge challenge, maybe we should go ahead and put a coat of it over. Let's do that. Well, do we want to wait? Oh, I can put my flower down. Okay, this is going to come over here. Do we want it to go? Nope, we do not want it to go over her face. Do we want it to tuck in there? No. Maybe over an arm. Okay, let's do all that later. Let's do this and get some color down. Okay, so we're gonna and I debated whether to put her down and then do the color blocking, or to do the color blocking and then put her down. But what I saw with Tisha's stuff was that her color blocking really went along with whatever, it went around, it went near, it went over. I feel like it really was a huge part of how she picked the colors to use, so that I wanted to have this lady down before I started color blocking. Now, okay, so she's down. Ooh, do I have a hair? No. If I did, I got it out. Okay, so there's literally a line of Mod Podge down the middle of her face. So we have that. And now we're going to take and we're going to start doing the colors. And we're going to start with, we're going to have 3 colors. I decided to go with a third. So we're actually doing RGB, red, blue, yellow. And we're gonna have fun doing this. So okay, so now we've gone all the way around. I want to think about, I lost one of my flowers. No, because we have our thing, so that can't be there. That is too much going on in one place. Okay, so that's good. All right, let's put those down. The thing I like about Indie ink is it's permanent when it's dry. Now, I didn't give it enough time to dry, so it moved a little bit, but that's okay. I'm not looking for white. I'm looking for, I'm gonna be doing all kinds of stuff over there. Okay, let's dry this so we don't get the movement. I feel like we want to go, do we want to go right in that hole? We want to go a little bit above that hole. So this is matte side. we go, there we go. All right. Let's go over this. Then we have this guy, right? Oh, he's on gloss side. Let's see. Okay, he's coming in for a landing. There we go. Oops. I almost feel like that white is too white. And I want to do something. But I want to do something super, super subtle. Look, I'm gluing my... I am gluing my stuff together. There's a shock. All right. So if we go with blue... I almost feel like we go with blue because we have pink in the flowers, right? So if we do a little bit of blue, we do a little bit of white, let's see what happens with that. And I think I definitely want like twice as much white as blue. And I kind of almost don't want it to be filled in. Oops. Now, if I waited for this to dry, you could always wipe it off the Mod Podge, because that's a good, they call it an isolation layer, where you don't have anything in between it. Kind of feel like this is going to give us just the right amount of interesting background without, isn't it funny how that color changed from the turquoise, right? Because we definitely started with turquoise and it turned into blue when you added white. Okay, let's see. How do we feel about that? Let me look at it. I feel good about that. Okay, so I'm good with that. All right, now for sure, we need to let this debacle dry, because this is layers and layers of paint and Mod Podge all stuck on top of each other with no regard for decorum or dignity. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but I am definitely starting to be able to tell the real difference between the Matte Mod Podge and the Gloss Mod Podge. I feel like the gloss is making it look a little bit richer. And I've never used gloss in a project, so this is new for me too. So it'll be interesting to see, but we'll have to let this dry. I don't know that I have to let it dry overnight, but this is going to be at least a couple hours before this is going to be dry enough to do anything with. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick video. This is totally dry now. We've got some cool wrinkles. I'm going to be doing a bunch of pen work, and that I do kind of off camera unless it's a video about pen work. So that'll be my next step. I'm going to doodle on it this evening. So now we're going to move my cord out of the way. we're going to do two things. So first off, I feel like you can see that one side is way more shiny than the other. And I feel like the shininess is adding depth. So what I want to know, is it shininess from each layer or is it shininess at the end? So we're going to do a cool trick to test this. I'm trying to find some old brushes. Oh, that's a nice old brush. Where did that come from? I think they multiply at night. All right, hold on. I got to go get the ugly old brushes I use. Okay, so we are going to do the matte over here, the Matte Mod Podge. And look, I wrote matte when I journaled. Okay, all right, let's get my journal out from under here. All right, so let's just go right down our line. And of course, this looks a little shiny when I'm using it, but then it gets, when it dries, it gets matte, no gloss. Okay, and this dried overnight, so I know that this is not going to smudge or smear or anything like that. And then we'll go over to the here. And then let's do one of these. So let's do white only. This is another project I did where I tried different backgrounds. So let's do this one. And this one might move a little bit. I don't know. I think some of this, maybe not. We're not pulling too much color. Okay. So let's do this in matte. Okay. And then I'll put that over to the side. And then let's do this in gloss. And we'll keep them on the right sides of my desk so I know which is which, because I really want to know. I don't like the way the gloss smells very much. So it would be interesting to know if the depth of color that I'm kind of seeing, or the depth of interest I'm seeing on the glossy one, is coming from layers and layers and layers of it, or if I could use matte the whole time and then just add the gloss at the end as like a stinky final layer. All right, so we're gonna put this over here, and then we're gonna gloss this one last time. And I really think I'm gonna use a tiny bit of gloss over here to stick this leaf down, but that doesn't count. I really like how this page turned out. I was doodling and outlining and having a grand old time last night playing with this page and all the layers of texture, and I thought this was really cool. So let's see. And this, I tend to like glossy anyways. Okay, so let's have a real talk about gloss versus matte. I like glossy paints. I like glossy embossing powders. I like gloss. So there's going to be a portion of me that likes the gloss just because it's glossy, right? And there's going to be a portion of some of you guys who like the matte because it's matte. For me, I wanted to see if it would make a really discernible difference in the quality of the pictures and how they stuck down. I feel like they both stuck down equally well. I don't think any of it had to do with the Mod Podge. I think both of them were a good adherent, right? But all right, let's let these dry and we will see what happens. Okay, so here's the final version. And I don't know if you can tell, but I feel like there's more depth of color on the glossy side. I think you can see it most in her face and in the stuff. Like these flowers look really cool. So that's that idea. And then we did this other one. So this is the matte. And this is the glossy. Let me see. I don't think that the final layer makes as much difference as much as all the added layers to it. So if I'm thinking I'm going to do a glossy one, I will probably do it whole the way.